welcome to the Love Your Business Summit. Thank you so much for showing up.
Cool.
And sharing your, I'm pre-thanking you for the wisdom that you're going to share with us. And talking about systems that set you free. I am a systems nerd. That is who I am. So I'm super excited for you to share. Will you talk a little bit about who you are, what kind of clients you serve, and what problems you solve for them?
Yeah, so I'm Brittany Budd. I'm the content queen. I live in Eastern Canada. I am a wife and a mother. I've got 3 beautiful children and I've got 2 baby angels. I was a stockbroker for 7 years before becoming, thanks, Stephanie, before becoming a business coach. I managed over $21 million in assets and served over 150 different families. Right before the pandemic, I decided that I was going to walk away from all that and become a business coach. So I've been doing that for 3 years now, and we have hit over $500,000 organically in that time, and just living it up, living life, doing our best, right?
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about your clients and why they come to you.
Yeah, so I work primarily with female entrepreneurs, and they come to me to learn the foundation of business, which includes, figuring out what your niche is and what your marketing is and your message and your brand and what your mission and your vision is, and growing the right audience and creating content that makes that audience connect to you and be drawn to you and magnetized to you, and most importantly, say yes to you so you can get paid.
What? Money? No one likes money.
Hilarious.
So I have my list right here. My brain is on paper, so forgive me.
No, you're fine.
Thank you. I'm giving up perfection today. That's the thing that I am releasing out into the world. Laura smiling because she knows that I'm a controlling freak. So when in your business, where do you find that people are getting the most stuck? Like where are they getting most frustrated? Where are they falling out of love with their businesses?
Content. Where are my people? How do I find them? What do I say to them? How do I say it to them in such a way that makes them pay me over anyone else that's in my industry? How do I stand out? What do I do? I feel like that's the most common thing that I hear is I don't know where to find people.
Yeah.
And it's not about finding people. People are everywhere. Like, we don't have to find them. They're everywhere. There's 8 billion people on this planet. There's literally people everywhere. And so we get really caught up in, oh my goodness, my ideal client is everywhere, so I need to be everywhere. So now we're stretching ourselves thin. We're trying to be on Facebook. We're trying to be on Instagram. We're trying to be on TikTok. We're posting on pins, idea pins now on Pinterest, YouTube channels, LinkedIn, growing our email list. Boom, like brains are exploding. We're getting so burnt out. We're glued to our phones. We're glued to our computers. Sometimes we have both, as I sit here on my computer with my phone on my desk. Like, we've got all of the things happening. But can we take solace in the fact that, yeah, your ideal clients are everywhere, so you don't have to be? Let's just pick one place, do it really well, show up and serve, and saying the right things. And I feel like I need to put a disclaimer when I say the right things. It's not that you can say the wrong thing. I think that the old adage of you can't say the right thing to the wrong people and you can't say the wrong thing to the right people is very important. But what I see is people kind of defaulting on sharing inspirational quotes that are in cute and pretty graphics, and doing a lot of sharing of other people's work, doing a ton of educating, and not doing that relationship building part. And especially as women, because we are told that we are right out of the gate, we are too much of everything. We pull back, and as women, we're told that we're not good with money. So not only do we pull back on showing up at our, most authentic selves, but we also hold back on making offers because we don't want to come across a certain kind of way. And we're afraid deep down that no one's going to pay us.
Yeah.
And so we
Yeah.
make these small, passive, not really invitations to work with us, like, oh, hey, you can work with me if you want to, no pressure, right? And then we're like, why isn't this working? I have bills to pay. I want to quit my job. I already quit my job. I lost my job. I got laid off during the pandemic and I never wanted to go back. I still have to pay my bills and I can't pay my bills with kindness. I wish I could. And so this is a lot of the problems that I see, especially with women entrepreneurs, is how do I be loud and proud? How do I take up space in a way that feels good? Because again, we get vulnerability hangovers, right? Like nowhere in any generations past have we been so visible as we are right now. And so we're not really equipped within our nervous systems to be seen by thousands and thousands of people every day. And so it causes this huge overload, this burnout. And so this is what I help my clients with. When they come to me, I'm like, let's strip it down. Let's get to the basics. Let's lay the foundation and let's regulate our nervous systems at the same time so we can do the things that we want to do. Because we have these visions, right? We have these great visions of making money and serving people and having these beautiful audiences and not being glued to our phones and our computers. And then we find ourselves doing the opposite.
That's really interesting. So just two points that I want to bring out of what you said is that our nervous system is not equipped to handle that much visibility, which that resonates so much because for me, I love talking one-on-one. Like, this is amazing. Having this conversation with you, having this intimate group that we get to experience this with. But then the idea of being on Instagram, it's like, but now I don't feel like I'm having a conversation. And I don't mind speaking in front of groups. Like, that is not a fear of mine. I know that I'm odd that way. Like, public speaking is the number one biggest fear, right? We all know that. I have no problem with that, but like Instagram, it doesn't scare me, but like you said, like my nervous system, I never would have put it that way. So thank you for giving me language around that, because once we have language, we can kind of work on it and focus it. And then the other thing too is that I think women and men, right? And one of the things that we get hung up on is like, yes, as women, like we get told we're too bold, we're too loud, we're too pushy, we're too bitchy, we're too, whatever, assertive. But men also get told like, oh, you're too sensitive, or, you're too overpowering, you're too like, everyone hears this message from the time that they're small, depending on their personality, what they're too much of.
Right.
And that creates so much fear about judgment, right? How do you release that? How do you release that fear? I'm sorry, I'm putting you on the spot. It wasn't a question
No,
I told you I
that's
was going to ask.
okay. That's okay. It's not something that you just like wake up one day and you're like, I'm not afraid anymore. Like, are we Kevin McAllister when he's home alone? He just like goes into the street and starts yelling how he's not afraid. Like, no, that's not how it works. It's like a daily practice of really like leaning inward to create that safety of whatever happens, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes, like I said, that's like a daily practice. Even for me right now, like that's a daily practice for me to be like, I'm going to say something and someone might not like it. Like I just dealt with this earlier this week. I laid a boundary with someone and she decided that she was going to blast me on her social media. So I was like, okay, cool. This is great. This is real life. This is the stuff that when we're vulnerable or we say something, these are the fears, right? Like I'm afraid people are not going to like me when I stand up for myself, when I say my opinion, when I share my thoughts and feelings, people are not going to like it.
Yeah.
And we have to get ourselves to a point, and it takes a lot of mindset work and trusting in yourself and leaning inward, like I say, to get to the point where you, and it's not even that you're ever okay with it. Like, I'm not okay with what's currently happening, but I have to trust myself that I made the best decision for my mental health and my safety. And if people are going to be mad, then that's not my responsibility anymore. Like, we have to put our own feelings above the feelings of other people. And as small children, that's kind of it, right? You are too much of this. You are making me uncomfortable with your too muchness. So you need to be this so that I'm comfortable. It doesn't matter how you feel. And
Yes.
so we do that. We shrink down to make other people comfortable.
Yes.
And we have to get to a point where we're trusting that it's okay if I'm me. My feelings are the most valid to me, and I have to worry about that.
One of the things that I just learned, and it's kind of the a flip side of what you're saying, right? It's the different side to the same coin, I guess is the way that people put it, right? Is if you are serving your clients, right? If you are truly serving in a way that says, hey, you have this problem, you have this headache, and I have the Advil, or I have this thing, is you know what I'm willing to risk to in order to serve my clients, in order to help people, is right, is judgment. What I'm willing to risk to serve people is that people are going to say things to me, or that people are not going to respond well to me, or right. So what are those risks that you're willing to take, right? Because sometimes if we're in the service mindset, which I'm not always, but no, not for my clients. Like, I'm one of those people, I'm like, you look sad. They're there. I don't want to give you a hug. But like, that's just me personally. So I was laughing at me. Stephanie's laughing at me. But I love giving, right? It's just like, that's not always like the way that I give is not always sweet, I guess. And see, now I'm making an excuse for my meanness, right? For my like,
Yeah, but
my,
it's not meanness.
yeah, I know my meanness, M-E, and
Oh, your meanness. Oh, I thought you said mean. And I was like, that's not mean.
right. But like, why, like you were saying, like, you're not responsible for their feelings, which is 100% true. And then another way, like, because that's the way I think about it. But another way to think about it is also is like, what are you risking to help the people you like you're here on earth to help?
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful. So with that, what are your top tips for helping people fall back in love with their business, and creating those systems that help set us free?
Yeah. I mean, with respect to what I do is like working on that mindset and trusting yourself. And that this is like an act of self-care, really.
Mhm.
Like, to love your business. And I know we're not one with our business, but to love your business, you kind of have to love yourself.
Mm. Whew. That was hard to hear, but it's so true.
Yeah, it's tough. And again, tough for women to show that love to ourselves. But, as we're out here creating, we're the face of the business. And while the business is not us, we are the business.
Mhm.
And so we have to put in those practices of self-love, of doing it scared, of showing up and thinking, as we're service-based and even product-based. Product-based still serves. We have to get out of our own heads. And just like you said, I love that analogy of like, let's pretend we're all hanging out together, which we are, but let's pretend we're in person. And like Susan goes, girls, I have a headache, splitting headache. I have medicine in my purse. And I'm like holding my purse, like, that sucks, Susan. Like, like, why am I not sharing with her? Like,
Be
knowing
nice to
I have
Susan,
the
be kind
answer.
to her. Share your fucking headache medicine.
Right, exactly. But that's like your business, right? Because we do solve people's problems. And you have to remember that the problems that you solve for your client, that's top of mind for them all the time. Like, the second they wake up, they're thinking of this problem. Then they're thinking of it all day long. They try to go to bed. The problem is swirling in their mind. It's keeping them awake for hours at night. Like, this is the thing that consumes most of their mental space every single day. So is it a physical headache? No, but it's a freaking headache nonetheless that they're dealing with this. And so when you're thinking of yourself and what are people going to think of me if I go out and say, hey, you have this problem and I happen to have the solution, you are loving your people. And we have to put our love for our people above the judgment of not our people.
Mhm.
So
You
go out
just
there.
you just said something that had a huge breakthrough for me. And that
Perfect.
is, so I have an autoimmune disorder. So that means when I get stressed out about something, I can have a flare up, right? Because it's like one of my
Yes.
big triggers is stress. And
Yeah.
so, and also like migraines and things like that. So if I like thinking about it that way, like if I'm not serving my clients and they are stressed out because like they have this problem that they're stressed about or whatever, like there's a very real possibility that it could be physical, like that manifestation of that stress. And then I'm
Yeah.
not serving them and they're going to bed and they're like, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
That's huge. So, what are some of the systems that have helped you build your business over over the pandemic of all
Yeah.
things?
I mean, I'm going to break some brains here. I am not like your typical girl. Like, when I started, I had nothing. I was like, here is a Google form. If you want to work with me, please fill out this Google form and I will email you and we will figure out a time to talk. Um, and so when we talk about like systems with respect to like different products that I was using, like nothing. I literally built this around my 3 children. My oldest was in kindergarten. My youngest was 2 at the time. And so I'm homeschooling kindergarten because I had to. And my husband was an essential worker. And so he worked shift work. I built my business around motherhood. I did all of my calls at night when my kids were in bed. I showed up and created content during snack time and lunchtime and nap time. And that is how I built. But I also, and like this is some of the stuff that I work with, is I shared so much of my life. Like, and especially like my most recent loss was not even a year ago. And so I've always shared so much of what I'm doing in my personal life and how that relates to my business. And that's like, that is what brings people in. Like, I focused on Facebook. That is where my people are. My people are everywhere, but that is where I wanted to be because I didn't want every app on my phone to be like a work app, because then you start holding your phone and going, every time I hold my phone, your body goes, you're working. So like
Yeah.
Facebook was my place. I showed up every day. I created tons of content and I made offers to work with me at least twice a day.
Ooh, yeah,
And
that's
that's how I did
huge.
it. Yeah.
How Talk a little bit about like again, I'm running the summit for everyone else, but also for me. So
Yeah.
because I get to do that. So talk about how you framed those offers and doing them twice a day. What did those look like? What did those sound like? What does this feel like?
Yeah. So I would create probably 5 to 7 pieces of content a day.
Mhm.
And 2 of them would have calls to action. So at the time, my offer was 6 months for 5K one-on-one.
Mhm.
And the way that I was selling that was getting people on a call, because if I'm going to meet with you for almost an hour a week and you're going to message me all week long, we need to vibe.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I needed to know who's paying me. So not all of my pieces of content would be long form,
Mhm.
but for me, and I'm going to give you the tip right now for selling posts that work best for me: situational content. So if you think about your ideal client, I already told you she, they, he, whatever, whoever you deal with, their problem is the top of their mind right now. So if you think about it's Wednesday morning, where are they? What are they doing? What are they thinking? And how are they feeling right now? And I will write a story about that. Oh, my ideal client. Okay, well, it's almost 12:30 here, my time. To say it's noon. She hasn't done anything yet today. She sat at her computer. She scrolled. She read some emails. She's hoping to be inspired. She's not. She's getting herself some lunch. She's going to scroll some more, hoping inspiration like zaps her through the phone, like electrocutes her brain, and she'll have something that she feels is good enough to say. And like, it's just like a stress point. Like she's scrolling constantly. She's wondering, where is my next client coming from? How am I going to find them? And so when you kind of get into that space, that's when your audience starts going, how do you know that about me?
Ooh, I love that exercise of like stopping your day and just like imagine where they are and what they're doing.
Yeah. And when you write content that's like, I know what you're doing. I can see you in my mind, just on your phone, scrolling, wondering when the inspiration is going to strike. But then you've scrolled yourself into comparison oblivion. And now you're like, oh, great. I'm at the point where everyone's bragging about how great they are doing. And what the fuck are they doing that I'm not doing? What's wrong with me? And now we're in a despair spiral.
Mm.
Right. But when I write content that speaks to that, and then go, do you know what? I can help you with this. This is exactly what I do. Let me help you. Let's work together on this. Here's how you're going to do that. Book a call. And I think another great tip is when you invite someone to go to a link or book a call with you, in your call to action, you need to explain to them what to expect.
Yes.
Like if you're going to get on a call with me, I'm going to ask you questions about your business.
Mm-hmm.
I want facts. I'm also going to ask you about what your goals are. I am going to tell you where your holes, blind spots, and gaps are. And we're going to talk about what it looks like to work together.
And that reduces their fear and anxiety about that phone call, because I hate getting on a phone call and not knowing how it's going to go. Like I will avoid it, like to the point that if I have to make that call, I will literally have my husband make it, even if it's to my friend. I'm not joking. This is a real true story. I have done this before.
Yes. And that's just it. People won't do things that they don't know what they're getting into.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. And so explain it, let them know what they're getting into. And it's just like, we're just going to make sure we vibe and I can help you.
If that resonates with you, like, no, like thinking about your client and where they are in that moment and helping you think about how to talk to them, drop an emotion or a reaction in Zoom, drop a comment, say yes, you know, hell yes, an emoji, whatever you're feeling, whatever's like bringing up in your heart right now, because that for me was so fucking brilliant. And that also goes back to what, you know, Stephanie was talking earlier today. That goes back also to what she was talking about this morning. So for those of you who are watching now, you should go look at Stephanie Hastings' video about just like knowing like how you're serving and how you're showing up, right? Like it's just, that's really what it's about, which is beautiful. So we have 4 more minutes. Lightning round.
I'm ready.
Popcorn. So what if you had like 1 to 3 tips, quick, what would you tell people that they should go and do, like run from this summit this morning and go do this afternoon?
Obviously create content that sells to their audience. So I'll give you 4 tips.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Your content needs to do 4 things, and it doesn't need to do all 4 at once, but it needs to entertain your people. People are online to be entertained. That means content that is relatable, sharing more of what you're doing. I started doing these like mini DIY, like tiny doll houses, like for fun. That is like the most popular thing about me right now. Number 2, it needs to be inspirational. So telling why you're doing this, what If you have not told your audience lately why you do what you do and how you got started, go do that today. People want to be inspired. They want to feel connected to you, and they feel that between those things.
Mhm.
People also want to be educated. It is not enough anymore to just be like, do you have a headache? I have medicine, but come here.
Mhm.
I'm going to tell you nothing about what the medicine is until you pay me. And it's like, excuse me, I am not about to end up on the moon over here. Like, they want to be educated. You got to show off your brilliance. Stop hiding your brilliance behind a paywall, and stop like shrinking down and hiding that brilliance because you're worried about other people and what they're going to think about it. Show the fuck off. Number 4, sell to them, make it compelling. Create that situational content that goes, hey, you have a problem and I can help you. And here's how you're going to pay me so that we can get this problem fixed. This is the desire you want. I can get you there. And so all of those will attract people to you like a magnet, because it builds that connection. It builds that know, like, trust factor, builds that friendship in their mind, positions you as the authority. And then when you make those call to action posts, those selling posts, they are jumping on it.
Mm. I just wrote those 4 things down in the chat, by the way. So if
Yes.
you're not right now taking a screenshot of that, then you will be sad tomorrow, quite frankly. Go do it.
Don't be crazy. Don't be crazy. Take a screenshot.
Take a screenshot, take your pic, like, don't know how to take a screenshot, get your phone, get it up there, whatever you need to do
There
to
you go.
get that in your brain, because that's a fucking awesome brain drop right there. Last thing, real quick, 1 minute left before Alara pops on here. Tell us about your freebie that is on the show page right now.
So I believe my freebie on the show page is my ChatGPT masterclass. So this is the new AI robot that everybody is using for content creation. It is amazing. I saw a guy last night use it to write a book for his niece, and I was like, that's cute as hell. But as a marketer, we're going to use it for marketing. So I did a class 2 weeks ago. It is insane. And it teaches you how to use ChatGPT as a tool. It's not going to replace you because it's not as smart as you, but it can think faster than you. So I'm going to teach you exactly how to use it to do market research, landing pages, sales pages, catchy hooks for your videos, anything that you need. It's going to create it for you and make it so much easier. And I also teach you how to use it to make an entire year's worth of content. Hook that shit up to Canva and get an entire year's worth of graphics, so you can just plug and play all year long. You'll never be stumped again.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much, Brittany. It's very funny that you say that. One quick like bon mot. We actually just used it to write my girlfriend's dating profile page.
Amazing.
So it was brilliant. Anyway, thank you so much for sharing your brain and your brilliance and your time today. We so much appreciate it. Everybody, show your love to Brittany. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.